Fantasy fans always talk about the same big titles, but hidden behind the mainstream giants are savage, brutal, and deeply immersive fantasy shows that deserve way more attention. Today we are diving into 10 savage fantasy series that many viewers have missed, even though they deliver epic battles, dark storytelling, shocking twists, and unforgettable worlds that rival some of the most popular franchises ever made. Starting with Britannia, a gritty historical fantasy that blends real-world Roman invasions with mysticism, druids, and ancient magic. Set during Rome's conquest of Britain, this series explores tribal warfare, political chaos, and supernatural elements that slowly take center stage. The tone is raw and unpredictable, and the characters often make morally questionable choices that keep the story intense and grounded. Instead of clean heroes and villains, it shows messy alliances and brutal survival instincts, making it feel savage in both its action and storytelling. Next comes The Outpost, a fantasy adventure that follows the last surviving member of a mysterious race known as the Black Bloods. At first glance, it looks like a classic quest story, but as it unfolds, the show reveals darker layers involving power struggles, corruption, and ancient forces awakening. The combat scenes are surprisingly violent, and the world-building creates a sense of danger that constantly surrounds the characters. It's a hidden gem for viewers who enjoy fast-paced fantasy mixed with mystery and revenge. Into the Badlands deserves more recognition for its martial arts-driven fantasy setting. Combining post-apocalyptic themes with feudal politics, the series features stylized sword fights that feel almost like poetry in motion. The world is ruled by powerful barons who maintain control through violence, creating a brutal environment where loyalty rarely lasts. The visual style stands out, with vibrant landscapes contrasting against the harshness of the society, making every fight feel meaningful and personal. Another underrated savage fantasy is the Shannara Chronicles, which takes viewers into a future world that feels ancient and magical at the same time. While it may look like a traditional young hero adventure on the surface, the show dives into darker themes involving sacrifice, betrayal, and the heavy cost of destiny. The stakes are high, and the characters often face brutal consequences for their decisions, adding weight to the fantasy elements. Shadow and Bone gained some popularity but still feels underappreciated compared to its depth. The show mixes political intrigue, war, and dangerous magic systems within a divided world threatened by darkness itself. What makes it savage is how it treats power and ambition, showing that magic comes with consequences and that heroes can easily become monsters. The layered storytelling and diverse characters create an experience that goes beyond typical fantasy tropes. The Bastard Executioner is another series that leans heavily into grim storytelling. Set in a medieval-inspired world filled with revenge and political manipulation, it focuses on a warrior trying to leave violence behind but constantly being pulled back into bloodshed. The show doesn't shy away from showing the brutal realities of power struggles, making it feel authentic and emotionally heavy. Carnival Row blends fantasy creatures with dark crime drama, creating a world where mythical beings struggle to survive in a society that fears them. The show explores discrimination, rebellion, and forbidden relationships, all set against a backdrop of mystery and looming war. Its darker tone and mature storytelling elevate it beyond a simple fantasy romance, making it both emotional and savage. Another hidden powerhouse is Legend of the Seeker, based on a beloved fantasy book series. While it may initially appear lighthearted, the show gradually introduces darker magical forces and intense moral dilemmas. The villains are ruthless, and the world feels dangerous as the main characters confront challenges that test their beliefs and loyalty. Penny Dreadful deserves a spot on this list for its gothic fantasy atmosphere. Bringing together iconic monsters and dark mythology, the series explores psychological horror alongside supernatural threats. The storytelling is deeply emotional and often tragic, showing characters struggling with inner demons as much as external ones. Its haunting tone and mature themes make it one of the most savage fantasy experiences on television. Finally, there is The Magicians, a show that takes magical school concepts and flips them into something darker and more adult. Magic here is not a simple escape but a dangerous force that often leads to trauma and unexpected consequences. Characters grow through pain and failure, and the story constantly challenges expectations, blending humor with brutal emotional moments that leave lasting impact. These 10 shows prove that fantasy is not just about epic heroes or grand adventures. Sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that explore the darker side of magic, power, and human nature. From mystical wars and savage battles to morally complex characters and unpredictable worlds, each of these series offers something unique for viewers who want fantasy that pushes boundaries instead of playing it safe. If you are tired of hearing about the same mainstream titles, exploring these hidden fantasy gems might completely change how you see the genre. They bring raw energy, emotional depth, and daring storytelling that deserves far more attention from fans around the world. Whether you enjoy brutal action, deep lore, or character-driven drama, these underrated shows deliver unforgettable journeys filled with danger, magic, and relentless intensity that will keep you hooked from beginning to end.